In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Glory to you, O God, glory to you. O heavenly King, comforter, the Spirit of truth, everywhere present and filling all things, treasury of good things and giver of life, come and dwell in us and cleanse us from every stain and save our souls, O good one. Okay, we are continuing what's called webinar 4. We were talking about media, and on the list we got to the media map. Jesse, why don't you indicate what we've done, what you know that we've done so far, because it's in your mind now. As we did the media map, are you okay with the media map?
Yeah, you're
Okay.
putting me on the spot here. I just got done with a whirlwind
I know.
of hosting people here. I'm kind of still
Okay.
reorienting myself. Sorry.
Yeah.
But
So
yes, we did the media map.
okay, and we can take some time to review a little bit if you like. Let me share my screen. Michael, am I able to share? You have to let me share. Okay. So we're looking at my workbench. Okay. I wish this would go away up there. Today we're going to talk about key names with two M's in them. All right. Here is an Aries file. It is Mineon, December 8th. Happens to be the forefeast of the conception of St. Anne and the memory of St. Patapios. But as we look at the keys, we recognize the first set, we recognize the second set, and then we see this key here, which is MEVE, that's normal. And then we see two capital M's, and that stands for media map. And then we see a very specific name, Stikera 112 as 8910 dot text. And the value of that can be nothing, or I made a key that all the libraries have, and it's just the media key. It's just there to be a value. It doesn't have to be there for this to function, but it's there. So why do we use this key? There are times in a let's say that this December 8th fell on a Sunday. And so if it was a Saturday evening at Vespers, we would have a certain number of resurrectional hymns, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. It calls for 6 resurrectional hymns, 7 resurrectional hymns, and then 3 for the forefeast. That's what it says. 7 resurrectional hymns, and then 3 for the forefeast. The forefeast only has, in this case, the forefeast only has 2. When it falls on a Sunday, the rubrics in this case say to suppress the memory of St. Patapios. So that means we're going to suppress these hymns, okay? These keys, or not suppress them. We're just not going to use them in that template. And so we want, if there is a score, and I've created a score for those hymns that are keys Stikera 1 and 2, in order to get the specific score that will have the correct verses, and not the verses that would have been if it was a normal day, but have the correct verses for a Saturday evening, when then we have to have a key in order for it to go find that score. Okay, so here's what this key means. It means Stikera number 1, which is this, and 1 again twice, and then Stikera 2. Okay, and then as means which one of the 10 slots it fits into on a Saturday evening. So in the first verse, on Saturday evening is it out of the depths I cried to you, whatever. There's those verses that the Lord I've cried, and there's 10. So it's saying use the first two hymns. So use the first hymn on verse 8, the first hymn again on verse 9, and the second hymn on verse 10. And then what that does, it allows us in the medium app to go to, I can go to here. All right. And then we can prepare a score that is specifically for that purpose. And as it turns out, we don't actually have that score, but it allows us to create a score that has multiple hymns in it and not just one key. So rather than, one key, one hymn, one score, we can put 3 or 4 scores together and give them their appropriate verses, and then that cluster can be referred to. So here's what it looks like in the template. So here's a cluster of Vesper hymns when we need 1, 1, 2 as 8, 9, and 10. And so we get the title, and then we get this key. It's a media key, and it says go look that up if it's there. And it happens to be there. There's just no media necessarily in it. I should have found one that actually has media, but anyway, that's what the MM keys stand for. If December 8th did not have this key, if I didn't add that key into the Aries file, it would not be found. I mean, we can put it in the template, but it has to also be in the specific date that we want it for. This is a RID, this is a relative ID, so it can be any time. As it turns out, when I did a search here, where this particular one, it's only used, on December 8th when it's a Sunday. Let's find another one that might be better. So this one here would be prosomia 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, and 4 as 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's probably its normal native way of doing it, so it didn't need a special key. Let's see here. Okay. Okay. Here we have the case where we want Stikara 1, 2, and 3 to be as 5, 6, and 7. For whatever, that's what the rubrics call for. And it happens to happen on March 24th. Oh my gosh, that's tomorrow. So we can by sticking this media key here, it will create the media links for whatever scores are registered that will have from March 24th, Stikara 1, 2, and 3, and we'll have those associated with verse 5, 6, and 7, all in one file. And that's why when we use a key like this, we notice that the hymns themselves, the keys themselves, have the media off, which is going to be, it's not going to be in the in Doxa. It's always going to be off. Doxa is going to require an explicit call for media. But reading this, we say hymn Stikara 1 is not going to fetch media. Stikara 2 is not going to fetch media. Stikara 3 is not going to fetch media. This is going to fetch a special score that we created, that I created, that has those verses specifically for that. They're not the normal verses for those hymns. It's not where they would normally fall. So in this case, we, for when it's March 24th and we need this particular thing, so now if I go to March 24th, Aries file, and here's the key. 1, 2, 3 is 5, 6, 7. All right. So that means it's going to find it's there. And then we have to check and see, is there anything in the media map? Has this been registered in the media map? That'll tell us if there is actually any score that it's going to find. So if we go here to the media map, okay, 324. And there it is. Okay. So we know that that's registered. It's a real piece of media, and we would find it, in my library of media. We go to Renown, March 24, Vespers, and there's the piece of media right there. Stichera 1, 2, 3 as 5, 6, 7. Okay, and if I open it, I don't know if you can see it. I'll share the PDF file. So now Stichera for the fourth feast, it's three, what is basically the hymns of 3 keys. I have, made them into one file, and I have put the verses that I want. If you, O Lord, should mark transgressions, that verse is 5. Because of your law, O Lord, is verse 6. And from the morning watch until night is verse 7. Okay. So that's how I can custom make a group or a cluster or an instance of scores. And that's for the convenience of the chanter, so that they don't have to go looking up, the off verses or whatever it is. And then I can give it a key, and that's how that works. All right, so that may have been super confusing. So please ask your question. Did you understand anything about that? Turn your voice on, yeah.
A little bit. I didn't remember whether or not we had seen some of those sections. You were saying like Stichera 1, 2, 3 as I didn't remember if we had covered that in the last.
We had not.
I don't think. Yeah, so I didn't entirely understand how it all comes together.
Right. So Stichera, let's say Stichera for the Minyan on a weekday. The normal thing is there's 6 Stichera at Vespers on a weekday, 3 from the Octoijos, 3 from the Minyan. That's the typical. It happens a lot, right? That means it's verse 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, and 7 are from the Octoijos, and then verses 8, 9, and 10 are from the Minyan. So that would mean Octoijos key for the day, key, Vespers Stichera key 1 would be at 5. Key 2 from the Octoijos would be at 6. Key 3 from the Octoijos would be at 7. And then key 1 from the Minyan would be at 8. Key 2 from the Minyan would be at 9. And key 3 from the Minyan would be at 10. So far, have I lost you?
Oh no, I understand all that. I guess I might need to just look again at what's included in that section.
Okay, so now that you understand that that's the normal thing, okay, and so if there's a score for that, I write scores for things that even the Greek books don't have scores for some of these things, But anyway, so the normal place for those 3 hymns of the Minyan is 8, 9, and 10. If for some reason I need to shift those, the rubrics call for those to be somewhere else, not 8 and 9 and 10, but 5, 6, and 7. Well, then, and I want to write a score for that as well, but with the correct verses on it, I can do that. It's just an ability to create a group of scores, to combine scores if you want, and to give them a name, a key, to be able to give them a key so that you can summon those. That's what the media keys do, those MM keys. The MM standing for media map. And then you can give it, after that point, you can give it, as long as the date is there. So as long as we know Mineon, March 24th, and then, whatever we do after that, it will become, as long as there's a MM there. So, yeah.
So I think the part that I had a harder time understanding was in the, I guess it's ve.atom file. It has section and then p underscore and all. I just didn't entirely understand how all of that operates, how all of that code operates, and what's included on there.
Sure.
Why?
All right, I'll show you. All right, so here's the service template for March 24th Vespers. Okay. And okay. Here's an instance where it falls on a Sunday. Here's the instance where it falls on the third Sunday, or excuse me, the second Sunday, the fourth or the fifth Sunday. All right. So what we're looking at, what you're looking there is something like that line right there. That's how, so when I want to summon, when I want to call 3 hymns from the Mineon, that it's the first 3 stikira and their place is 5, 6, 7. I go to the VE and it goes right to this this section, and that's what it's going to run. And in order to have a score, then for those 3 hymns, I had to make up a key, and that's the made up media key. Otherwise, if this key wasn't here and I made the media on, it would look to see if March 24th has a sticker on 1 score. Does it have a sticker on 2 score? Does it have a sticker on 3 score? And I could have done that. I could have, there's different ways of doing it. I decided those pieces are always together. So why have 3 different scores, 3 different links? We could just have 1 link for the 3 scores.
Father Seraphim, could you go back to the other file for a second?
This one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Could you just hold it there for a second?
Sure.
I think I might need to process for just a second if you don't mind.
So this is a service template, and we're actually gonna circle back and go through service templates.
I want to kind of compare the two. I took a screenshot of the other one.
Oh, okay.
Would you be willing to go back to the VE
Sure.
file? I took a screenshot of this, but it was blocked in one part. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I don't entirely understand it, but I have some sense of what's going on. Thank you.
When we're making when I made this template for March 24th, okay, let's just say, I said, here's the beginning, here's
Right.
to the Psalm, this is Lord, I have cried in the mode of the week because it's a Saturday night, right? For 10 verses. And then here are the resurrectional hymns, the 4 of them, as 1, 2, 3, 4, as 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're using that code of 1, 2,
Right.
3 as 1, 2, 3 in 2 different ways. Well, it's the same way for the same purpose, but for example, in this case, it's 1, 2, 3, 4 as 1, 2, 3, 4, but we don't have a special media key. Each one has each hymn has its own. We just use its native media place. We don't use an MM key. We just use them because we have a separate score for each of these hymns. Now, if I wanted to, I could cluster 4 of them together and then create a MM key that says 1, 2, 3, 4 as 1, 2, 3, 4, and then just have one link that opens a score that has 4 scores, in it. But I didn't do that here.
Can I try taking a way of explaining it?
Yeah, please do.
So, Jesse, normally the RID or the SID in a media tag matches, it has the same value as a hymn below it. But what if, in which case, there's a score, one score for each hymn? Sorry about my voice. But what if you want the score to be for multiple hymns? Well, you have to have a fake key, if you will, that makes it look like it's for a hymn, even though it's not. And so that's the reason he will create, excuse me, in the Aries file an entry for it as if it were a hymn, when in fact it's going to point to a PDF that's going to combine a bunch of hymns.
Oh,
so I don't know if that helps. But...
Oh, okay. So all of those, okay, and that's what we were seeing when you showed us the PDF. So all of those stickera are within one PDF. That's not split up.
Correct. It's a convenience. Okay, it's not necessary. It's a convenience. Michael built all these tools and things to do, and I ended up making it so complicated.
Well, okay. Father Seraphim finds clever ways to make it do what he wants it to do.
Maybe it was anyway. All right. So should we do another example of that, or do you think that's sufficient even for the sake of the webinar?
For me, I think for the sake of the webinar, it's sufficient.
It's okay. All right. So now the next thing on the list is MI, Media Index, for a long list of selections of scores, for example, great doxologies. So as you know, on the DCS, let me share the DCS. All right, here's the DCS. And I'm going to go to Sunday Matins, any Sunday Matins. And we scroll down to the Great Doxology. And there's only one set of links here, right? That Great Doxology could be, there are all kinds of compositions. It could be in mode 1 and any of the 8 modes by several different composers. And people have given us scores. They're just tons. And if we did the normal thing of there would be a normal drop down of like 1 or 2 options of something, that would be okay. but because there's like 20 or 30, that would mean an unwieldy sort of drop down menu. Okay, so what I've created, is it's HTML. It opens over here on the side, an HTML page that has links to all the different scores, and this could be several pages long. It's like an index. Instead of pointing to a score, this link points to an index. That's a way of finding, a bunch of scores. So if I wanted doxology 1, I would click on that, and it would take its place. So that's what that happens for doxologies and anything that you want. You can make it anything you want, but where is that? Where does that live in the program? It's in the media. It's in the media folder under here it is. Okay. I will unshare this and share the ALWB. So here's the media project, right? And here are all the composers and contributors. Okay, look at how many contributors. It's crazy. And then here's a folder that's MI. So that's media indices. And so if I open it, it's got its own CSS. That's what you saw when it opened. Here are some indices for English, for Western notation, for orologia here. So that what we opened there was the Matins doxology grade index. And there's another one for that in Byzantine notation. There's, if it's in the Greek side, there's another one there, and another one here for the Byzantine notation. So as it turns out, those are the only indexes right now. But let's say for cherubic hymns in the future, when we have, a bunch of people want to supply, and provide us with cherubic hymns, and they can be in all the 8 different modes. They can be long, short, different composers, stuff like that. Well, it would make it very, very long drop down. The same thing for holy gods. Okay, those are, the same thing for, the liturgical stuff. It is truly right. Communion, anything, especially liturgy, especially in the divine liturgy. There's all kinds of compositions that could possibly do, and it would make the drop down unwieldy. So I devised this other way of the one link in the service opens up an index. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. I don't know if that's going to be a concern in Guatemala, but it's a way of expanding possibilities and making more things, available.
So in the media map, it's going to point to HTML instead of PDF or an MP3, right?
So yes. So let's go to the media map to see what that link does. So all right. So we used to have, are you seeing see how these are commented out? I mean, tons of lines of great doxologies. Okay. I mean, look, we had a whole bunch, and there could be a whole lot more. So I commented them out and only provided this key. So here's the key here's the entry in the media map that goes to open that index. And where in the Aries file is it? Well, it's HOSO3, so it's orologion. I'll go there actually. Orologion. OSO3. Okay. And Here it is. So that allows us, so that gets registered in the media map, and then wherever the URL points it to, that's what it's gonna, it'll open that. So let's drill down. Here's this key that it's an MM. It makes it possible for us to do something. We'll go to the media map. There it is. And the path is, over here, these things. And I think, well, yeah, it just automatically, all media is opened on the right side, right? Yeah, so it opens it on the right side. I think it was it was a later enhancement that Michael did to make HTML also open on the right side. You remember doing that? Remember when I asked for that? It's many years ago, but
I don't, but I believe it.
oh, and then I had to actually ask Bruce to do the same thing for the iPad app to allow HTML to open in the right window of the iPad app. He had to change the code in order to allow that. Yeah, Jesse, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah, there's it.
So if you wanted, let's say, let's imagine we were going to do something like that for cherubic hymns. Okay, we would find cherubic hymns. Where are they? They are EU. Elias Chris. All right. All right. So here's cherubic hymns. And there aren't so many that, they can be in one drop down. But we could, if we wanted to, make a key for it to open, on the side. And so for that, we would have to go to the EU file, and we would go to EULI Chris and create that key with the MM. And then now how did that get into the template? Yeah, I just call that this key. It's nobody's doxology. It's just the doxology key, and then it would open. Yeah. All right. Does that make sense? For now?
Well, Father Martin, sorry, Father Martin. Gosh,
That's
I
good.
was I was hosting them. Father Seraphim,
Yes.
could you repeat how you would do it if you wanted to do it
All
with the
right.
church hymns?
I will actually do it now. All right. We would start in the liturgy file, so that you'll look that up. That is EU LI, and we have to have it in the Greek for sure. We have to have it in the Greek. Sorry, in the Greek. Let's put it in deities, and it has to be in public. All right. So we'll start in the Greek. And the key for cherubic hymn is key 1102. All right. So I don't need that. Key. Here's the cherubic hymn. Deities does not have his own translation. Here, 1102. Key 1102. Okay. Now what we're going to do is All right. Notice here, here's the Cherubic hymn, I ta cheruvim mystikos ikonizones, all right? Now I'm going to create a dummy key or a media key. So it's going to look a lot like it. EULI key MM. And then all right, so that's the new key. We can give it, just that okay. All right, we've created a media key here. So far, so good. Okay. And then it has to also be, oh, it doesn't matter. Okay. Now we would, and it should be in public as well, which means public has to point somewhere, right? So you got to make sure that if you want it in English, so EULI Chris Basil, public 112. And so I'm creating this key in the GOA library. And then in public, I have to point it to the GOA library. Otherwise, it'll give a okay. So now we've created this media key. Now we need to register it in the media map. So I'll take this key, I'll come to the media map. And now I do EU, what's the name of the book? EU, LI Chris Basil. And then the key name, there we are. And then composition, whatever. And it's not score. It is, I have to see what I did for doxology. So my workspace decided to rebuild completely, so I have to wait for that. That's not going to happen in Voxa.
True.
It's using 14,000 megabytes of RAM, 11, goes up and down. Okay, here we are. So sorry. Score. It is score. All right. All right, so and then All right. So now I created the key and that's going to be triggered when I click on a Cherubic hymn. Actually, I will have to put that key into the template. So, so far, are we okay? We created the key, we registered it. Let's give it a path. The path is going to be much like the other one. It's going to be M and MI, EN, W, something like that. Anyway, let's see. It's going to be M, EN, W, EU, LI. Okay, something like that. That's the URL, and then I'm just making that up. Okay, so it will look for that index here in the MI, under English, under W. There would have to be another folder made, to correspond with this path, wherever the path is. Okay. Now, what in the liturgy, we have to insert this key somewhere now. Okay. So I'm opening the liturgy, the LI Atom file, which has the sections of the Divine Liturgy. And I'm going to go to where the Cherubic hymn is. All right. So here's where the Cherubic hymn is, 1102. I would need to add let's see if it does that.
Father Seraphim,
Yep.
could you go through showing how each key points to the other, like going all the way back to the URL path? Because the key, because there's like 3 different keys that we just created. Because
Well,
the key you just inserted into the
sure,
liturgy file.
sure.
Mhm.
In order for the program not to throw up an error, the key has to exist in the Greek, no matter what,
Mhm.
whether we have Greek or not. And then for it to find anything in English, it's got to be in public, which is here. Okay. I had to put that key in the public, the same place it is in the Greek, in the public English file. And public has to point somewhere. So I pointed it to the GOA. And here it is. Those are the 3 keys I just created.
Oh, I see. Okay, so that's in the ENUS. Oh, okay, and then that's what points to the, and then could you show the properties underscore EN, that media key? That's the one in the media map.
No, that properties thing is just it's just a value that, so that key can have a value, but it doesn't matter. It can even be without a value. It doesn't matter as long as the key name is here. It's the key name that we care about. Okay. So now this key, EULIMM key 1102, has to appear in, okay, that's why.
Okay, that's there. And then
I think I spelled the key wrong. Okay, here's the name of the key, right? EULIMM. All right, that's why. Okay.
and then what is it that appears in the, or where is it that we see the URL path? That's in the media.
That'll be in the media map. Okay, so now we've added the key to point to something, right? Because I want it to point, this key now points to this. And is this registered in the media map? And we will go to the media map. And here it is, key 1102, MM 1102, and here's its path.
I see. Okay.
Each entry in the media map has 2 lines.
Okay.
Okay.
I understand.
Now you get it?
Yeah.
So Jesse, one thing to explain, normally when you do a sit or a rid, it's doing a lookup in the liturgical text to retrieve the value, right, for a hymn. But when it's the media tag, it doesn't look there. It goes to the media map instead.
Okay.
And
Okay.
yeah, that's a good way of explaining that.